Hey guys, Masati here. Welcome. This is Masati, Mas on Sunday, where, well, I explain life. The top level reason on why life happens the way it does to you, and then how to change it. It's quite amazing, actually. So we're trying some new things here. I've got a new controller in the background running Mas on Sunday. His name is, I call him Demi. His name is Dimitro, actually. Or sometimes I call him 13, so anyway, so you might hear me talk about, hey, 13, can we do this or can we do that? So that's what we're talking about again. So we're going to be trying some new cool things on Moss on Sunday as well. Today's topic is a well-needed topic. It's on anxiety and the true definition on anxiety. Just like Moss on Sunday, or exponential intelligence overall is about, say, helping you understand the top level or the first principle reason on why stuff happens the way it does. Okay, so for many of you, first principle definition might be new, but so let me just explain it. First principle definition or first principle reason is it's Elon Musk uses a lot. It's in science, and it's basically, it's like, to me, it's like the top level reason on why something happens. Okay, so and even scientists don't go this deep, but if what I always say is like, hey, if you have a solution, right? You have a problem, you find a solution. Are there exceptions to the rule to that solution? If there's exceptions to the rule to that solution that you've created, and it might be a great solution, right? But if there's this exception to the rule, keep searching, dig deeper, refine, and then eventually you'll get to the top level reason on, or the top level reason on why stuff happens the way it does. Most science is like that, like gravity and so on, like that, right? There's a top level reason on why gravity happens, and that's why gravity works all the time, consistently, on everything, right? That's why the physics of the world work consistently on everything. There's no exceptions to the rule. So what does that have to do? Well, if you become a first principle human, well, you'd be at a top level human, and there would be no exceptions. So again, and this is where you would heal yourself. This is where you would cure yourself of illnesses, of lack of whatever it is, finances, or anything that you need. Okay. Again, when you reach, if your belief systems, if your concepts, if your ideas, if your solutions, your religions, your political views, and all those things aren't working for you, working for your community, working for the world, then we should try something else. We shouldn't keep repeating the same old pattern, right? Otherwise, we get the same old shit. In fact, this is what's happening today in today's society, right? Look at it. By the way, the mask thing, that wasn't the first time the mask was out there. Happened quite a long time ago. So again, why does that stuff happen? Why does those solutions happen again, over and over again? So I'm not asking you to change the world. Well, I am. I'm asking you to change yourself to change the world. So again, if your life isn't at the first principle level, okay, if there's exceptions to your belief systems, the mechanics on how you see things, and just life isn't working for you, fucking change. Don't worry about the religions. It's like, well, this religion told me this, and my parents told me this, and I thought it was this way, and I'm just going to keep hammering, and hitting my head against the wall. No, change. Do something different. Look at the possibilities. And that's what exponential intelligence, or becoming exponentially intelligent, is about. Okay. Today, I want to jump into it. I wanted to talk about that first because today's topic is anxiety. First principle definition. What does that mean? So again, not knocking down psychology or anything like that, but a lot of times, people have anxiety, and there are several reasons on why we would have anxiety. And you could look up. There's tons of information on YouTube on why anxiety happens. There's a lot on Google and so on like that. You can go to a doctor, and they'll go, well, you need to calm down, you need to take a vacation, you need to do this, and so on like that, right? But again, what is the underlying reason? What is the top level? What is the surface level reason on why anxiety happens? And that's what we're going to discuss here today on Moss on Sundays. I think it'll help a lot of people out. There's three different forms of anxiety. So today we're going to understand the deep science on how to relieve yourself of anxiety attacks and disorders. Learn anxiety's real purpose that can actually benefit you, what anxiety is really created, or why God created anxiety. You want to get into that. And then experience a hypermeditation to help you integrate the first principle definition of anxiety and to take back control of your life. Right. So a lot of times when people have anxiety, what do? They pop a pill, right? Or they got to do something. There's a couple things that you can do physically, and then at a frequency level, at an XI level. So we'll just start this series, this event, just jumping into the hyper meditation, getting you into those deeper states, so I can work on you a lot longer. For those people who are new, and again, those people who are new, welcome. We always get new people online. If you're listening to this as a recording, like many of you do, that's fantastic as well. The frequencies still are available to you. They still work on you. They're still almost as powerful as say, the original live recording. Okay. All right. And please share this content, and also like and subscribe to this channel. All right. Because we need more information like this out there. So let's take a deep breath in. Just notice where you are. Notice the space around you. Okay. I'm going to give you a few simple steps on how to end or nix anxiety. But I'll give you the three different types of anxiety and how it occurs, right? And it's very, very different. Most people think anxiety comes from the stresses of life and so on like that. Yes, but there's a top level reason on why you have stress in your life. Okay. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So again, take a deep breath in. Notice any part of your body. Okay. We can use sternum bone, for example. If you don't want to use that as a whole, as a group, that's totally fine. Notice any other part of your body, but a specific part of your body. Right. And then breathe into that space. Okay, so there's three reasons on why anxiety happens, right? One, and the top level reason. This is the top level reason, and then I'll give you some physical reasons on how anxiety happens as well. But the top level reason on why anxiety happens is just because you don't know how to hold yourself in space and time. Now that might go, what the fuck did he just say? What does space and time and me having anxiety have to do with anything like that, right? I have anxiety. I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous. I jitter. I'm jittery, right? When people look at me, or when I'm in that anxious mood, I'm all over the place. Those are some of the definitions, or say symptoms that people equate to anxiety, right? You're all over the place. You're not sure where you are. You're nervous. You're like jittery and so on like that. Why does that happen? Because you're out of space and time. Simple as that. You're out of space and time. So let me explain. And um, maybe I can use the drawing here. And the cool thing is that the comments are on real time now. So what I do is before there was like a 3-minute delay or something like that. Now it's in more real time. So your comments are going to be in real time. So I can talk to you, almost converse with you in real time. It might be like a second delay or something. But again, so little things like that we've changed, which is really cool. Let me see if I can pull up um, a whiteboard for you. Just give me a second. And it's just, it's so easy. If I can pull up a whiteboard and draw it for you. Okay. Let's see. Apps. It's not under there. Whiteboard. Here it is. All right. New whiteboard. All right. Can you guys see my whiteboard? Yep. You can see the whiteboard. That's fantastic. So 13, there's about a second delay. Awesome. So this is how anxiety works, okay, in space and time. And again, exponential intelligence is all about changing your dimension, and that's how you massively transform your life. It's not about psychology, because that's low level. It's not about brain frequencies. Again, those are low level. They help, they benefit you. Those are physical, say, attributes that you can edit and change, and they're beneficial. But the real reason, again, is the dimension that you create yourself in. Okay, the reality that you create yourself in. Okay, now just note that if you're new, you might not understand that, but you change your dimension, or you change your frequency, that changes your dimension, and then your life changes. And this is where people get massive changes in a very short period of time. A lot of times they can transform like within, like, say, 5 minutes or so. Literally transform within 5 minutes. That's how fast the transformations can occur. So this is where, and again, I'm new at this drawing, so just give me a second, highlighter, pen. So this is how anxiety works for you. Okay, there's always a bubble around you. It's called your reality, how you see things. I call it your filter. I talk more about this. It's called the multi-sphere, right? That I talk about on how realities are created, or how consciousness. We're not going to get into that. You can, I don't know if the team can put that that talk on the link on that online for us. I think it's out there somewhere, or if not, again, contact customers on how the multi-sphere works. But this is, so around, this is you. Just give me a second. Yep. So this is you here. This is your reality. Okay. There we go. You all can see this. Yeah, there we go. This is your reality. Okay. Let me move this for you. This is your reality. Okay. Now this is how you see your filters. Okay. This is how your life you see. And again, there's filter upon filter upon filter in this. Okay. You are right here. You are supposed to be centered right here. Okay, this is you. Hopefully that shows up. Yep. This is you. Okay. Now, when you're feeling stable, you're centered within your world. That's why where people who are anxious and nervous and depressed, they go, I don't feel centered. I feel off balance. I feel all off kilter. How many of you say that when you're in the anxious mode? How many are you saying, and I'll explain how, say, suicide works as well, because the suicide rate is going crazy. It's the highest it's been. A lot of it has to do with, unfortunately, so on like that. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'll explain that in just a moment on why that occurs. Okay. But the main reason why is that you go off center. Okay. This is you. And then what happens is that you go, hey, I'm not centered. And then, dang it, I can't move this. Let me erase this. Sorry, guys. Let me draw a better version. This is, here we go. This is you. Okay. So this is you. You're supposed to be centered. This is where you feel normal. You feel calm. Okay. Now, what happens when you feel anxious is that, and this is the filters of your reality. It literally is a physical wall or a physical filter. Okay. The veil that you see your life through. Okay. Without this filter, you would not know who you were. And I just remember that, especially for those who are highly depressed or suicidal. Okay. So now what happens for you is that when you start to get anxious, you start to move. So you start to move over, say, to the side, and you get closer and closer. The closer you get to this boundary of your filter, the more anxious you feel. And it's simple as that. It's got nothing to do with who you are, how much money you make, what religion you are, how close you think you are to God, or anything like that, or if God's forsaken you and all that stuff. I bring that in because a lot of you on the call think that God's just left you alone. The world will think that way, right? It's got nothing to do with that. But the key reason and the physics literally is just what I just said. You are off center from the filter. So these areas, you see things, and this is where when people get anxious, right, their senses become highly, say, maximized or hypersensitive. Because if you're seeing yourself, and this is how your higher version or your limitless self, this is the center. Okay. And then again, all these filters render you. So again, I don't want to get into that aspect way too much in a very short talk, but this is where your senses become very hypersensitive. Okay. If you're touching this, if you're touching the filter, this is where you get super sensitive, and this is where you don't want people to touch you and all that stuff that, highly anxious people go through. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So let me explain the reason why this happens. All right. So the top level reason on why you stay off center is that you have an autonomic nervous system. Now there's two of them. The first autonomic nervous system that you're very familiar with, your heart rate. You eat something, and then the digestive process happens, right? For example, you start running, and then your heart, something in your brain tells, oh, I'm running. I need my heart rate to increase. I need my breathing to increase, right? I need to stay upright. Again, my balance. All those things are automatic for you. You don't tell yourself, oh, I'm going to run. I need to increase my heart rate to, I don't know, what, 80 beats per minute. You don't tell yourself that. You don't do it mechanically. You don't do it physically. It's autonomic. It's automatic for you, right? There's millions of processes in your body that is automatic for you. The way your cells operate and so on like that. Again, it's an amazing piece of machinery, and it's all automatic. Okay. That's part of your natural intelligence. Okay. That natural intelligence links you to a higher autonomic nervous system. And this allows you so what I was talking about was your time-bound self, okay? Has an autonomic nervous system that controls your physical functions here. Everything, okay? That you don't think about. Even that craving for like, hey, I need water. Autonomic nervous system checks your body, like shit, you're dehydrated, and it signals the brain, hey, drink some water, right? That's all automatic for you. You again don't go, I need to remember to say take water. There are individuals who damage their brain at some level, and they literally have to think about breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Otherwise they stop breathing. Kind of crazy, huh? So anyway, you get to a higher level. There's a second autonomic nervous system. That autonomic nervous system tells you how you render yourself, what you render yourself as. In this case, you're human. So all the human properties that your physical autonomic nervous system is dictated by that. It also tells you where you are located in reference to your reality compared to other people's realities, compared to the real reality that's occurring. So there's, again, multidimensional realities. The multiverse is real. I play in it all the time. This is how I transform people. Again, not through psychology. And it sounds kind of crazy. It's on the cutting edge of technology, by the way. There's more and more science behind it, which is nice. Billions of dollars being poured into frequencies and the multiverse. And more scientists are coming towards me and going, hey, how do you do that? Well, because they're starting to believe that, wow, there's deeper reasons on why shit happens the way they do. So the autonomic nervous system, let's call it your super autonomic nervous system, that part of you is switched off, or it doesn't work for some reason. So it doesn't center you, okay? Just like a GPS, it just tells you, it just sending out into the world, it's going, you're here, you're here, you're here. And that's all it does. Just like radar, right? When you're getting picked up, say that Google Maps, for example, right? It's pinging your phone, or your GPS is pinging it to the satellites every, I don't know how fast, every millisecond. And it's like, yeah, you're here, you're here, you're here. Simple as that. And it brings it back, that signal brings back, and then you see it on your screen, on your map going, oh yeah, I'm here. So the same thing with your autonomic nervous system. Okay? It tells you where you are. For those people who get anxious for some reason or another, and I'll explain the reasons, you're not, it doesn't tell you, hey, you should be centered within your reality. Okay? Once you get centered within your reality, take a deep breath in. Bring out to work on you guys. Take a deep breath in. Notice again the body part that you chose. Notice how centered you feel. Notice how calm you feel without the drugs or anything like that. Now here's the rub. Take a breath in again. Notice the body part. Center yourself around that body part, no matter where it is. I'll help you create an anchor around that body part. That anchor is anchored to present moment time. That's what that super autonomic nervous system tells you what it's about. Okay? It always tells you, hey, you're here compared to present moment time. It tells you, for the advanced individuals, it tells you all the time compared to where you are, your reference point to where you should be, or your optimal self. Okay? And this is what we use in advanced, say, exponential intelligence, like in the upcoming Total Human Reset Awaken challenge, where we can transform all of you, all aspects of your life in those 18 days. And even the 18-day HyperMeditations, it does that for you. Those who've gone through it, again, comment in on how that works, or how fantastic that's been for you. But as you take a deep breath in again, So the key is that how do you turn that autonomic nervous system back on? And until then, how do you balance yourself? Spatial referencing. Okay. I'll give you some minor, just some basics on spatial referencing, just to help you out for those who are new to me. Just give it a try. Just give it a try and see if it works for you. Okay. It's so powerful. I think it's one of the most advanced techniques in the world. Right. Literally to stabilize you, and a lot more, to bring you abundance. Spatial referencing is the key, because the closer you are to present moment time, everything works out better for you, right? In this case, anxiety starts to decrease. Take a deep breath in again. Notice that what I've done for you, how many people on the chat here, so you stop. How many people actually feel calmer? Comment in. Nothing else happened. Your bank book, your relationships, all that stuff is the same. The only difference is I forced you into centering yourself within your reality. Simple as that. Okay. If you can stay there, you'll overcome a lot of the reasons why you say stay off center. Okay. Take a breath in again. Spatial referencing. Spatial referencing is where you look at an object, and I'll give you just the visual spatial referencing, the most dominant. Say there's a cabinet over to my right here. Okay. Cabinet over to my right. My body part, the tip of my nose is here. You don't have to measure the distance, but all you have to do is go, oh, that cabinet's over here. A body part is here, my nose. The window is off to the left of me. Okay. The tip of my nose is here. I know it sounds kind of crazy. Just laugh with me and give it a try, especially for those who are anxious. Right? Give it a try, and you'll see that it's just spatial referencing visual. Now you can do that with all 5 senses, and we do that on the 18-day HyperMeditations and so on that we just started just a few days ago, by the way. So there's still time to join if you'd like. We go into advanced spatial referencing, but just try that for when you start getting anxious. It'll start to pull you into your center. Okay. You don't get lost. You don't get off kilter. Okay. I want to share my screen again for you, for those individuals who are say suicidal. Okay. So this is what happens when you are, say, really depressed or suicidal. So I think you guys can see it. Yep. So this is you. Oops. There we go. So again, this is the closer you are to the boundaries of your filters or the boundaries of your reality, the more anxious you get. This is another thing. When people go, I'm bouncing all around, I'm all over the place, I'm jittery and so on. Basically what's happening, and I don't know if it's going to, because of the lag, but basically you're bouncing off the walls of your reality. Okay. This is what you're doing. Oops. Again, and you can see, one day, 1 second you're here. The next second you're here. This is where you get really anxious, right? The next second you're here. And this is where your emotions, your state, your hypersensitivity start to, really aggravate you, right? This is the reason why. So when people get depressed, they're starting to, say, pull themselves out of the reality. They're not within themselves. This is where they start to go, I'm out of touch with reality. I'm disconnected with things. I'm starting to feel disconnected. Suicidal type patterns or suicidal type behaviors, you're outside of that. You're outside of your reality. It's got nothing to do, again, you might think it's got to do with your social eliteness or anything like that. No, not at all. It's got everything to do with how you render yourself in the dimension, in the reality that you are supposed to be in. Okay. This is like oh shit, I'm disconnected. I feel disconnected. And no matter what you do, this is where fortune and fame, their reality of themselves, they think they are in this circle, right? But they've created such a different reality, which is outside that circle. So they pull themselves outside of that circle. And there's another circle that gets created here. This is the makeup of a suicide of, say, the rich and famous, right? This circle here is the reality that everybody else thinks that they are, right? They're gorgeous, they're talented, they're this and that. The smaller circle, the bigger circle denotes the real reality that there should be in. So this further they get disconnected. For example, they're over here. Okay, the further you are from your reality, your real reality that you should be in, the less connection there is. It's just like a Bluetooth signal. What happens is that, just like a Bluetooth, right, between the source and, say, a speaker, you go far enough away, it dies. You go far enough away, you have to perish. You can't come back anymore. You can't reconnect. So that's where, say, suicide happens. Right? It's literally that simple. Again, and this is why people can't figure out, psychologists can't figure out. It's like, or families can't figure out. It's like, God, they were so talented and they were so beautiful and they had everything going for them, but then they committed suicide. That's the reason why. Okay? So again, anxiety, suicide. I'm not an expert. Right? I just see it as it is. I could be totally wrong, guys. If you have like suicidal issues, again, there's suicide hotline numbers on there, out there that you can reach out for. There's people you can reach out for. There's professionals you can reach out for. But once you understand this concept, again, I've helped, I don't know, thousands and thousands stay here just to help, just by turning on that switch. How many of you out there actually would not be here without XI? Comment in, would you? Okay. All right. So now we understand the underlying reason why that happens. Okay. We also should understand the underlying reason on why that's created that way. Anxiety in its original form, the true definition of anxiety, or the first principle, is that basically if you're intuitive enough, okay, you should be in tune with your reality that you've created. It basically tells you, it's like, hey, you know what? You're a little off center. The more centered you are, the better you're going to be. So literally you start to use it as a GPS. It's like, oh, I'm off kilter today. What do I need to do? What do I need to remove for me to be centered? So those who are anxious or anxiety, again, one, how do I turn that switch back on? Okay, you want to ask yourself every moment. Okay, put it on your bathroom mirror, your fridge, whatever. How do I turn that switch on? Now that you know the concept, how do I turn that natural switch on, that GPS switch on? Let's just call it a GPS switch on. How do I turn that back on? Ask yourself that. You don't have to know the details. Your higher self does. Second is that, hey, I'm off center. What do I need to remove? What patterns or programs, not something outside of you, but what patterns or programs that am I running that I need to remove so I can stay centered? And just keep it an open question. So those two things, how do I turn that switch back on? Helps me stay centered automatically. Second one is, what patterns or what programs am I running that keeps me off center, that keeps me off kilter, that keeps me off balance? And how can I remove it? Those two questions, again, write it down. Ask yourself day in, day out, all the time, especially when you're anxious. It's like, oh, what pattern am I running? Say you get into an anxiety attack. It's like you take it as an opportunity. It's like, oh, wow, okay, what pattern am I running that got me into this anxiety attack? Something obviously occurred, and you might think it's something, oh, my ex told me this and so on like that. But what pattern is it in you that allowed your ex to turn that program on in you? Okay. So that's the key. It's not about your ex. So what pattern is it in you? And then you start to notice it. You start to observe your anxiety attack. Again, you're separating yourself from it. I know it's a crash course, but take a deep breath in again. But then once you do that, you start to notice the pattern that causes that anxiety attack, and then you overcome it. Okay? You start to resolve it. Breath in again. The next aspect I want to cover is that some of the foods that we eat. Now I'm doing a paper, I'm doing a research. Hopefully it'll get published somewhere. But on what your brain actually does. Most of your brain, I would say over 90% of what your brain actually does is it creates where you are in space and time. Outside of all the things that the brain is miraculously known for, right? Most of it, this goes way beyond what scientists know. Most of it, they'll catch up. Most of it is literally telling each pixel that renders you, that creates you, where you are in space and time. And it keeps track of that. Foods, especially especially genetically modified foods, mess with that system. And this is where you physically get, say, disoriented or distorted. Okay. Chemicals and so on like that aren't good for your body, toxins, right? Pollution and so on like that mess with your brain ability to help you center yourself once that switches on. So this is why those individuals who do XI, what happens is that, well, you start moving away from those foods that aren't good for you, moving away from the toxins or the prescription medications and so on like that aren't good for you. Again, I'm not saying to stay off your meds, but a lot of times those medications that are supposed to help you with your anxiety, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't take that stuff, but again, maybe wean off it. Again, it's all up to you. It's your choice. But those things might, again, aid in creating more anxiety for you because it numbs you down, and then you kind of feel drunk, and then your brain can't tell. So over time, it might have, say, the reverse effect on it for you, right? So to clean your system out, by the way, we've got a fantastic total human reset coming up. Literally helping you clean your system out at a spiritual. It's called Awaken. Some of you might have had the free call coming up. I'm just going to you can scan this QR code. And again, we're just playing around with what we could do. You can scan this QR code, on your phone while you're listening to me. Scan this QR code. You can go to the totalhumanreset.com page. And scan the page and see what it's about. But it's literally about resetting you at one frequency level or at a spiritual level, whichever preference that you use. If you're science, it's a frequency level. If you're spiritual and so on like that, it's at a spiritual level. Again, awakening you to a higher level of potentiality. That's all it is. Second half is, again, getting you into the proper shape so you can hold on to the higher frequencies. So we'll give you techniques and tricks from, even if you're, say, a little, your mobility is limited to, say, somebody that just wants to, say, bulk up with muscle and so on like that. We'll give you tips and tricks on that, exercises. Then, oh, sure. How's that? That better? All right. So, and then also a kick-ass nutrition program. So take a look at that. Take a look at the QR code. And if you want to join up, again, it's not for everybody. It's for those individuals who really want to massively transform and will have, say, the grit to do it. Because it's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. You have to go inside and look at all your weaknesses and then eliminate them. Most people would rather escape and try to create success and go, look, I'm successful, therefore I'm happy, right? Or I conquered this, therefore I'm happy. That shit doesn't work out. This goes inside and allows you to center yourself. It allows you to eliminate all that bullshit, genetic patterns and all that. Again, so that's what the Total Human Reset is about coming up. It's totalhumanreset.com, or you can scan that code. So take a deep breath in, and then we'll get into the scanning. And again, if you are new here, let's just finish this up. Just give me a second. Take a breath in. Again, notice the body part. There we go. Let's check the comments out. This one is Nikki Willem. I'm agitated and anxious now. That's really good. Okay. This is that when you get, say you're calm. Okay. You're calm in an environment that's not beneficial for you. Okay. For you specifically, Nikki, if you don't mind me reading you. And again, this is the part where I read people or scan people and tell you exactly what's going on with you. Okay. So we'll start out with Nikki. By the way, let me read this disclaimer for you. Before we start that, this is Masati with Xponential Intelligence, Sunday, September 11th, 2022. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please consult your doctor or your therapist or professional advice. Okay? If you ask to be scanned, you're allowing us, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share your session, then don't ask to be scanned. Okay. And if you're new, go, hey, I'm new, want to be scanned. That's great too. All contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. And then please only type your request only once. Okay. So we'll go back to Nikki. So you did this exercise. Now you feel agitated, right? That's your autonomic nervous system. That's your self-telling. That's basically telling yourself that, hey, you're off center. So you're using it properly. You've already elevated yourself. So congratulations. You've already elevated yourself and going, wow, why am I feeling anxious? Because people are always, in your case, people are always pushing you to the side. So you never experience yourself in real form, right? You're always waiting for your turn to happen. Who was that? Was that Nikki? I forgot. Whoever said that, Nikki. So whoever said that, Nikki. So that's why. So now you're seeing how you get pushed to the side on your life. You're always like on the sidelines of your life, waiting for life to happen, right? So now your autonomic nervous system of anxiety is working. That tool is working for your benefit. It's going, wait a second, I'm off center. And then this is where, for you specifically, Nikki, and for others that run this pattern, okay, this is where you will get irritated with somebody. It's like, God, that person irritates me. And they didn't even do anything. It's because frequency-wise, they're pushing you off. They're controlling you at a deeper level. So you will notice immediately rather than after a date, after 6 months, after whatever. It's like, damn, that person just really controlled and destroyed my life. Right. So you'll know it immediately. It's like, so again, they might look attractive. They might have all the physical propensities of attractiveness qualities according to your standards, but frequency wise, underlying, you attract individuals that push you off center. So now, again, like I said, that mechanism for you is on. It's telling you that people are pushing you off center. So you ask yourself very simply, it's not other people. Yes, other people are doing that to you, but you don't want to eliminate other people, although that it will happen. And then you attract real people. But you ask yourself, it's like, what is it in me that's allowing people to push me around like that and push me off center? Do you see how that works? And then you'll find yourself calmer in situation. Okay. You don't have to be, say, off to the side in the corner, hiding your abilities and your potential, Nikki, anymore. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to wait for people anymore. So again, that's where this is a real life situation on how that anxiety mechanism, once it's reset for you, like it is, the congratulations, works for you. Okay. So this way you don't get into your situations that you've had in the past. I'm getting ripped on in THR. It is on, baby. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Nikki. Yep, I'm agitated. QR code worked great. Thank you so much. Can you take the THR without the diet? Cannot do keto. Yes, but again, we're going to do the Q&A sessions on that. You can do that, but we've got this fantastic nutritionist, by the way, guys. We've got this fantastic nutritionist, and she does keto differently for you. Okay, so there's a reason why you can't do keto. Your body is off kilter somehow. So again, it could be that nutrition plan might work out well for you. Okay, so again, it's very different. This one's Holly, hypersensitive and feel everything. Don't feel safe and not about danger. Just being alive. Would love scan, please. Absolutely. So for you, Holly, again, a perfect example. The reality that you create, right? There should be a certain boundary that you create yourself in. Okay, there's you, for example, and say, and I'm just throwing a number out just for clarity. Say your boundary, that reality, that filter that should be around you, your personal space, is about arm's length outside of you, Nikki. Okay, all the way around you. That is your personal space. When people walk into your personal space, you feel it, right? You feel it like they're pushing in on you. Okay, that's your personal space. That literally is a frequency around you. That filter, that circle that I drew a little bit earlier. That part of you, who's this? Holly. That part of you, Holly, take a breath in, Holly, and then for those individuals who are like this as well, for you, for some reason, seems like as a child you were never allowed to express yourself. You were never allowed to express yourself, and I could go on and on, but just because of time, basically what happens is over time, this personal space got closer and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So your personal space, okay, it's supposed to be arm's length out, is this tight. So you move an inch and then you're hypersensitive to everything. That's why everything is just like right in your face. That's how you experience it, right? There's supposed to be, again, distance or proximity between you. Okay. Another way of putting it is that things are blurry when you're underwater. You open your eyes, things are really blurry because there's no space for you to focus on, your eyes to focus on. You put a set of goggles on, it's like, oh, wow, it's clear, right? Again, you need that proximity or that space, that distance between you and the other people's reality. So that's why you're hypersensitive. Take a breath in. What I was doing for you, Holly, is just helping you say, push that out a bit more, right? And then you can relax. And even now, and again, if I'm reading you, scanning you, comment in. I know it works. I know I can see. I've done this hundreds of thousands of times. I know it works. But to prove it to yourself, wow, what is Moss tapping into? That allows those individuals who are opening up their own abilities, because again, my abilities, you all have it, you all possess it. This will allow you to go, what's Moss tapping into? What consciousness is he tapping into? And then allows it to open up for you. Okay. All right. How do you feel? By the way, I was going to ask you, Holly, how do you feel right now? Do you feel a little bit more relaxed? Again, all I did for you, frequency wise, okay, and it doesn't take much time. Again, it's just frequency wise. All I did for you was literally expand your personal space. Simple as that. And then you can expand your personal space once you get a little bit more comfortable. The 18 days and some of the other programs that we do will help you do that. Okay, the THR will help you do that. All right, we'll go on. alphabetic. Please scan. Please, can I have a scan? This is Pamela M. Pamela, yes, please can I have a scan. So for you, Pamela, by the way, I don't have psychic abilities. I just tune in to your frequency. It's kind of like an IP address. Okay. So for you, Pamela, you don't have to use your real name. I don't have to know anything about you. You can go, hey, you can use a fake name and go, hey, please scan me. Your frequency signature that I tap into tells me exactly what's going on with you. So anyway, for you, Pamela, I'm not saying, Pamela, you're not using your real name, but other people who say, test my abilities. That's how my ability, I'm just showing you how my abilities work. Okay. Anyway, Pamela, for you, there's something going on with your head, but it's not you. It's always like people play head games with you, or people derail you, or people kind of, so I don't know if it's your mom or dad, because I just see a feminine frequency. It seems like your dad might be real feminine, right? Or your mom was really aggressive, so your dad was really feminine. So that's kind of messing you up, Pamela, in the first place. The second part is that, they always make you question yourself. So you're always, say, insecure, unsure about what you do. And then you're always going, well, what are the experts saying about this? Or what is so-and-so? So again, your decision-making process wouldn't be that great because you never trust yourself. Again, it goes back to what I just said. Take a breath in. Let's put you back into your body. Okay. And you might actually have some head issues, by the way. I'm not sure. Or in your family, you might have some head issues going on there. Not a doctor. I'm just seeing that there might be something there. So let's put you back into your body. Take a breath in. Just notice, notice your midsection there. Your identity of being feminine, female, not there either. And I can, again, because of the mix up between your mom and dad. By the way, an extreme version of it is what's happening today in the youth. People, young kids, girls, or boys, they're going, I want to be a boy, and they're a girl. Or I want to be a girl, and they're a boy. It's because that filter that they see a woman or a female and male through is watered down or distorted. It's been muddled up so much, people are starting to realize they can't figure out what a real feminine frequency is compared to what a real masculine. Worse off, the human filter, the human frequency that you are, that's even getting messed up, or it's getting so messed up that people go, shit, I don't want to even be human. I'm going to turn into a furry. How many of you have heard of furries, right? Kind of crazy. But those individuals will not relate to human form because of that filter. It's not something in their psychology. They literally do not want to be part of the human mechanism. It's gotten that bad. So they'll go, fuck. Cats are nice. Pets are nice. Whatever. I'm going to start using that filter. And then they start morphing into that. And then they start using litter boxes instead of toilets and stuff like that. That stuff's real, guys. And again, it's not psychology. It's the filters that they see themselves in. Okay. All right. We'll move on. This is Taylor Williams. Please scan me. So Taylor, you always seem to, it's like there's something on top of you or pushing you in. So your real self is like hidden all the time. That makes sense to you? You want to express yourself, but you can never express yourself. You want to show your talents and so on, but you can never show your talents. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, but again, nobody sees you, nobody hears you. And then physically you try to be more beautiful. And I don't know what you look like. Your picture is really, really tiny, and who knows if that's your real picture. But anyway, the deal is that overall, no matter what you do at a physical level, it won't help. You'll never be seen or heard or anything like that. So take a deep breath in. The reason is that there's something just right in front of you that just like blocks your path. And it comes from a death space. So you always feel, especially when you're alone, that it's like life is empty, or you're imprisoned, or you're feeling compressed. Sometimes, and again, comment back in, Taylor, sometimes do you wake up where you can't breathe? Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah. You wake up, more and more information is coming in. So, which is good. So you're ready to release all that. So let's help you with that. So in a previous lifetime, and if you don't believe in previous lifetimes, totally fine. In You can either do a previous lifetime if you don't believe in that. Like I said, most religions, the three main religions, the religions of the book, they don't believe in reincarnation. So again, if you don't believe in that, in your family lineage, whichever one, doesn't matter. Who cares? But it's all the same. You were buried alive, or somebody in your family was buried alive. Okay. Take a breath in. There we go. So basically what that means is that somehow you died, but you weren't really dead. And then they buried you, and then you suffocated. So again, nobody ever saw you, nobody ever heard you. So that's that wall. Okay. Does that make sense to you? You might even have dreams about that. So again, Taylor, comment in, see how your life will change. Even in this experience, even in this mini session here, your life will radically change after this. Take a breath in again. Just notice how you can breathe. It's help you remove that memory. And it's not a memory. Again, it's a previous lifetime or a genetic pattern. By the way, you think those were random coincidences? Do you know what a dead ringer, where that comes from? Okay. It was so prevalent back in the day that they would put a bell and a string in the coffin. And if you woke up, people could say, pull the string, and somebody would hear the bell and they'd unbury you. Nowadays, they just take your blood out. So they make sure that you're dead. So anyway, but there we go. And again, Taylor, comment in, see how you feel. This one, CP12, GP123, or CP123. Please check on my niece. She's feeling lost since her parents cut her from me. I know it's unfortunate, but the reason why I lost so many comments coming in, it scrolls and then I lose where we are. So the reason why, and again, I forgot your name, whatever. So the reason why the parents cut you off from seeing her is because you're having more of an influence, because you're an XI. You're an XI, you're having more of an influence on your niece than they are. And your niece is gravitating to a higher frequency, again, which is you. And then their parents, especially the mother, feel, say, insecure or inadequate, or it's like, shit, I'm losing my daughter. I need to control my daughter, because the mother, again, is very controlling. He needs and it could come from love, but again, love is basically insecurities about the parent. So basically, it's suffocating the child, and the child is like, "Whoa, shit!" My aunt is that's freedom. So she gravitates, and that's why you got cut off, unfortunately. But don't worry. In the 18 days or whatever that you're doing, just bring your niece in. Okay. And again, at a spiritual level, she wants to be free from the demise of the parents, so to speak. So it's totally fine. It's totally cool to bring her in, and then you can still work on her without seeing her. And then that environment that she's in, she'll learn from it, and she'll go, okay, my mom is insecure, right? I don't want that. Right. And she'll also understand, and this is where a lot of females have turned masculine, by the way. How many of you who are feminine have turned masculine, right? Or look even masculine? There's a lot of, say, I work with a lot of beautiful women, models and so on like that. They have that masculine propensity because they're afraid of being female. They look at their mom, in this case, your niece, she looks at her mom, it's like, damn, she's female, I'm female, and she's insecure. She's not sure of herself. She's not really present in time. I don't want to be a female. Dad, he might, he might be more abrasive or whatever, but he's like, dad looks like he's more in control of his life. I'm going to copy dad's pattern. So you're a young girl, right? You're a young girl and go, I'm copying dad's patterns. But unfortunately, again, since the parents aren't awakened, situation wouldn't happen if they were. But unfortunately, what happens is like that young girl copies dad's complete pattern. And then what happens is that the masculinity part of being, say, independent, successful, and so on come in. You can still be feminine and still be independent and successful. But a lot of women who are, say, successful and so on, and masculine, this is the reason why. They think you need to be a man. You don't. You just need to run a strong XI female, feminine frequency. And then what happens? Well, you're strong, independent, successful as a female. Simple as that, right? This is Sage MD. Yep, saw the weakness is and okay, sure. Chose to run masculine patterns. Exactly. Being masculine was safer for me. Sounds very familiar. Again, a lot of women commenting in. This is why, again, and you go to these women's events and all these women empowerment events and so on like that. What do? They pour more masculinity on you, right? They force men in a corner so so females can dominate them, and then they think that's womanhood or they think that's femininity. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You take back your femininity. Femininity has a strong quality of its own, much stronger than a masculine quality that you're copying, by the way. Okay. Very, very powerful. But most men don't know how to use it. Most women don't know what it's really about. Most men are afraid of it because they're not true men. So we teach you all that in the this is the same thing too. How does that relate to parents wanting to have a boy? Exactly. Or a boy or a girl, right? So what they do is they project their opinion on you, right? You're a girl. It's like, gosh, wish I was a boy. And that every time, especially the dad part, the father, every time they look at you as a kid, it's like, damn, what do I do? I'm not comfortable with the girl. I wish that was a boy. And then sometimes they treat you as a boy, but that underlying, say, frequency of thought, you pick that up. It's like dad. And then you go, damn, dad wants me to be a boy. And if you love your dad, if you want to please your dad and so on, you start having masculine tendencies. Same thing, same exact thing. And then vice versa as well. If you're a boy, they wanted a girl, same exact thing. This is Sunny Wood. What is happening in my right pelvis? Thank you. So what happens, again, I'm not a doctor. I could be crazy. I could be all off. Again, this is just what I'm seeing for you. Your right pelvis is actually, say, morphing or turning. It's turning inwards itself. So in your family, your bone structure, for you, was it Sunny? Yeah, for you. For you, Sunny, what's happening is that you never went through puberty properly, so your bone structure feels not as strong. It didn't really turn into, say, an adult bone structure. So, and you might have eaten the wrong foods. Again, I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I would go eat more, collagen, bone broth. Seems like your diet. I don't know if you're vegetarian or something to that effect, but you need, bone broth or collagen or something to that effect. Okay. To bring you back. And then also the 18 days would really help you. But basically what's happening to your right pelvis is it's like it's curving inward and then it's throwing your leg off. So you might have not only hip issues, but then your knee joint might wear out faster and so on like that. So it's a condition that you can you release? Yeah. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but again, basically you're aging like your parents. You don't have to age like your parents, guys. Again, that's what the THR is about. You don't have to age like your parents. You don't have to get old like society or anything like that. You can become ageless. I'm for example, 61. I'll take one more. This one, enjoyed the talk. Thanks. Thank you so much. Yes, a strong feminine talk. Please scan me. I need it. I'm kind of confused. This is Onika, Onako, Jespava. So Annika Jespava, again, you feel you feel like you're new to XI, or you're just learning. Yeah, you've always been kind of lost what's happened. And basically you get pushed around, in your culture or in your family, especially if you're a woman or a female. Again, if you're a female right off the bat, you don't know anything. Simple as that. So that consciousness, again, in a lot of cultures, that consciousness prevails, right? And then you're trying to get out of that. And then whatever you say never got heard. Say that and I'm seeing something again, comment, and I'm seeing something that you say something, for example, whether it was, your siblings when you were younger or now in a career, right? You say something, people don't hear it, or they go, that's really stupid. And then like a few minutes later, somebody else might say something very similar to what you just said. And they go, wow, what a brilliant idea. Right? Has that ever happened to you? Is it Annika? That's happened to you. There's an underlying frequency that, again, there's an underlying frequency that people don't say respect you. People don't identify with you. People don't relate to you. People won't trust you. It's all the same frequency. So take a deep breath in. And then you don't trust yourself, right? Yeah, you don't trust yourself. Take a breath in again. Notice your neck. It seems like your back is, you might have scoliosis or something like that, especially on the top part. Again, I could be way off on that. Breath in. So you always allow other people to literally invade your space and be somebody else's identity. Okay. When you're a younger kid, you probably go, I wish I was somebody else. Okay. You literally pulled in somebody else's frequency, somebody else's identity. And it's so real that, again, it's curving your back. So imagine, again, what happens is that you're here and then you go, I wish I was somebody else. So you basically pull somebody else's identity into you. And now there's two of you in one body. And this is where you might feel like two people, or you might not feel like alone in your own body, or you might feel uncomfortable after this mini session, Hanukkah. The reason why is because this identity that you've created of who you wanted to be is so real now that it's literally rendering two identities. Right? Take a breath in. So let's remove or separate. I can't really remove it. I would suggest a private session. But let's just help you separate it. I can't remove it because most of your thoughts, your identities, your memories, your experiences are of that other, say, personality. Okay. So it's not a presence, it's not a ghost, it's not anything like that. It's just that you wish you were somebody else so badly that you created another identity, but you didn't you didn't you didn't expand your own identity. You just created a duplicate. This is what's wrong with mentorship, by the way, at a higher level. CEOs. This is what's wrong with success mechanisms. This is what's wrong with all those people that go, yeah, I can train you to be somebody else, be a successful person. You still keep yourself here. You create another identity there, and then you have two identities. This is where burnout happens for high-level CEOs. Take a breath in. And this is crazy, but when you're a young kid, you can project or you can create identities that become so real. Okay. And this is the crazy part. Halloween's coming up, so I'll tell you some Halloween stories. This is where young kids can project a personality onto a doll, right? The doll starts to create a personality. They start to create it so real that the parents start to see it. They see the doll and go, oh, and they start to, again, communicate with that doll like as if it was real. Over time, okay, people have abilities, and over time, what happens is that that doll starts to become so real, starts to say animate itself. Simply, it starts to animate itself, and this is where you get movies like Chucky and Annabelle, and those kind of movies, right? Obviously, those are extreme versions of that concept, but basically, that doll becomes so real. That doll starts to, it doesn't move around, like Chucky would. It's not going to stab you with a knife and stone, but that doll becomes so real. Okay. And then that, if that doll, say, gets possessed or dark, for example, it will communicate to the person, the creator. It's like, hey, you know what? Why don't you stab yourself? And shit like that happens. Or it starts to control the family. I've seen that happen, by the way. It's crazy shit, but that's how real people can create their realities. Right. So again, for you, Annika, you have an amazing ability to create your realities, but you're not doing it properly. So get on XI, do the 18-day meditations, understand about frequencies, understand about, say, again, coming into one, understanding the power that you, say, created outside of yourself can be a part of you. And it's not just for Annika, it's for people who want to be high-level successful CEOs and so on. People who want to, say, create, say, stardom, fortune, and fame. They create those two identities like we talked about, right? One identity has to die off. It's the same thing. It's like, and that higher identity says you're the real identity, right? The one that says the weak one, that again create a duplicate of itself over here, stardom. And a lot of, again, fortune and fame people do that. Again, it's the same exact situation here. That higher identity looks at the weaker identity and goes, shit, you're no good. You're no good. You're still broken down. You're still abusive, getting abused, you're ugly and so on like that. Again, the two identities start talking to each other. And then it says, you should kill yourself. And this is where the rich and famous, they kill themselves and they go, shit, why do they do that? Anthony Bourdain, Marilyn Monroe, right? It's all suggestion. Whether it's Marilyn Monroe, somebody else might have suggested something. She knew too much about the presidency from what I'm seeing. So anyway, very suggestive thoughts. Okay. Simple as that. Crazy, crazy shit that happens out there, guys. So the unseen controls this reality more than what you think you see and experience here. I'll leave you with that. All right, guys. Did you guys enjoy the talk? Hopefully it was beneficial for you. And since it's real time, yeah, thank you. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Notice what you notice. Hopefully this helped you. If you have friends who are anxious, again, share this with them. Right? It might save their lives. As we end, guys, notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. Okay. And if you're interested, in about an hour or so, 1 o'clock, I believe, Central Time, I'll be on the love event. I think you can just go to the love event, or the team can put that on love event. There we go. How to cultivate love today. It's a free talk. You can click on the link, register for it. Again, it's a free talk, and we'll show you how to cultivate love, that internal love for you. All right, guys. Notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing. Peace.